Right. Hello and welcome again. It's lovely to have you with us. And here is finally the long promised video that I said I was going to make as a follow-up to the first one I did all that long time ago about things I wish I knew before getting a wood burner. And I thought it might be helpful if anybody else wanted to ask any questions of my chimney sweep. I'll introduce you in a minute because technically you're not chimney sweep, are you?
Yes, I am a chimney sweep, but a chimney technician.
That's it. That's the
like
word.
to be called today, yeah.
Okay, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi guys, my name's Martin Collins, and I am a chimney sweep and a stove installer. We install log burners and multi-fuel stoves.
Brilliant. How long have you been doing that for?
Been installing about 7-8 years. Been chimney sweeping 27 years.
Yeah, I remember because when we were in another house.
Yeah.
You came to do ours.
That was a few years ago.
Yeah, that was a few years ago. And you're also the one who installed our burner for us.
Yes.
And we wish that we'd spoken to you first before we got the wood burner, because it was touch and go as to whether it would be okay. One of the things that we didn't know about was obviously needed to be DEFRA approved, and we'll go through something because somebody has asked a question about that. So there's quite a few things we needed to know beforehand, and of course the cost overall for the whole lot was probably more than we'd expected, but it just proved that we really needed to speak to somebody qualified first to get all the information, and you probably could have got things a bit cheaper than we would have paid for stuff on our own. So if you don't mind, we'd like to quiz you and pick your brains.
Well, I'll try my best, Cindy. Fire away.
Okay, so let's not get too official, let's just chill, okay?
Yeah.
So some of the questions obviously were to do with the practicalities and some safety stuff and stuff like that. So one of the first questions was, what's the difference between wood and multi-fuel stoves?
The difference is the price is not a factor in this because they're roughly the same, but the difference is with multi-fuel you can burn solid fuel like smokeless coal, peat, briquettes, and with a multi-fuel stove you have a grate.
Right. With
a log burner you don't. It just sits flat on the deck. With a multi-fuel you have a grate, because coal and peat and stuff like that needs the air to come underneath, and it burns from the bottom. Wood burns down, so that is why you need a grate for the oxygen to get underneath the fuel and take the combustion of the chimney.
Okay, so pretty much like the old-fashioned grates with the holes underneath.
Exactly the same.
Coal on. Okay, right. And what are the advantages and disadvantages of those?
What of a log burner or multi-fuel?
As opposed to either one.
It's preference really, because if you're just going to be burning wood, then just go for a wood burner. Okay. But if you, like myself, I grew up working on the coal. I'm a big fan of the coal, smokeless fuel, anthracite, and I enjoyed burning coal, and it lasts longer. There's a different kind of heat and different kind of smell when you're burning anthracite or smokeless coal.
Right. Okay.
And it don't burn so quick as what wood do.
Yeah, depending on the type of wood as well, which brings us to another question, as in another person asked what types of wood, well, two people asked what types of wood can be burned.
Ideally hardwood, oak, ash, birch. I'm not a wood specialist, but they're the three main types. If you can get stuff like that, then you're laughing.
There is a list online of toxic woods and things you should avoid burning completely because of the toxins and cyanicides in some woods. So I'm sure if you want to check that out, there is a list online on toxic woods to figure out which ones. Like I think alder you're not supposed to burn at all because of the cyanicides, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the toxins inside.
So I think there are a couple of woods that you can't burn because of that. Okay, and then the type of wood. Oh, we've skipped that that one. I'll get to that one in a minute. How can somebody tell what's the best burner or stove for their situation?
Well, first of all, swings and roundabouts, Cindy. The bigger the stove, then the more regulations come into effect. If you've got anything over 5 kilowatt, then you've got to have a vent put in.
Right.
Yeah, up to 5 kilowatt, you shouldn't need a vent. So if you've just got a normal size room like this, then anything up to 5 kilowatt should be fine.
Yeah. I think ours was just over 4, wasn't it?
Just over 4, yeah. Anything over 5, you've got to have a vent in, and the bigger the fire, the more fuel you will burn.
Okay,
so that's a very important thing to think of as well.
Brilliant. Okay, we talk about heat outputs, and depending on the size of the room as well, what kind of heat. Somebody asked the heat outputs for the room or house size.
For something like this?
Yeah.
No more than 5.
Okay. So you don't need for like a 2-bed house like ours, you wouldn't need more than 5.
Well, a lot of people are confused, especially the last couple of weeks, people saying to me, when you install a log burner, the whole house is going to be warm. No, it don't work. It don't work like that.
You need to leave all the doors open and
exactly
for it to get upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not designed for that. You can get log burners that will do that, but they are very, very expensive stoves and very expensive to fit because they're going to be plumbed in to the radiators.
That's another question somebody asked as well, about having it plumbed into the radiators or a back boiler or something.
Yeah, it can be done.
And it probably needs to be done when things are installed in the first place, all the heating systems and everything all at the same time.
And you can switch either then from a log burner or to the central heating.
Yeah, I imagine that's an exceptionally expensive
job
to do.
Very.
And it's not one you want to put a retrofit into.
No, we don't do them.
No.
We don't do them anyway.
No.
But
that would have to come in on like the building side.
Yeah. Building, plumbing.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So that's what somebody asked as well.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
Yeah, I mean ours, this little one, you've put the flue liner right the way up for us, and even with the flue liner, the actual chimney breast up in the landing gets very warm to the touch. So it does warm the whole landing anyway. Just
like the old open fires used to do years ago. I was lucky when I was growing up, because in the house we were living in, my bedroom was right by the chimney breast. So and we had the airing tank in there as well. So in the winter, when we had the open fire going, I used to have the benefit of the tank being warm and the chimney as well. It was brilliant. So I had the warmest bedroom in the house.
And there's some people actually have heat exchange systems attached to their wood burners as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's another complicated thing altogether.
Yeah.
Okay. So
and expensive.
Oh, I could imagine. Yeah. Somebody asked what the capability of stoves and burners to hold heat overnight.
It's a definite no.
Definite no. Yeah, unless the heat is stored in the bricks, it'll release it a little bit, but it's not going to last. You don't keep the fire going overnight, do you?
Some people do, and we strongly advise you never ever
leave a fire unattended.
The only type of fires that you leave in overnight are Parkerays, Rayburns, the old Agar cookers, also the old Triangle boilers, which I haven't seen for over 20-25 years, and they were a brilliant heating system. Used to burn coal about that size.
No way.
Beans and grains, it was called. But they're the only ones, solid fuel, which shouldn't go out. You
you need to keep them going. So those, you don't get those anymore though.
I haven't seen them for a long time.
Wow.
But these log burners and multi-fuel burners, they're not designed for overnight burning.
No, it's not safe. I wouldn't do that anyway.
No, definitely not.
And besides, just like I said, it warms the rooms already anyway. before you go to bed. And by that time you're asleep and you're not going to notice till the morning.
Yeah.
When we were kids, we would have our my mum had one of those old-fashioned asbestos heaters, and she'd drape our clothes over it, and she'd give it to us to get dressed under the covers with our clothes on. Didn't have central heating. Oh my goodness.
I used to get dressed in front of the coal fire.
Oh wow.
Because my father used to light it before he went to work.
Oh, we could get very nostalgic over fireplaces. They're so good, aren't they? Yeah, another person asked, do smokeless areas, smokeless zones prohibit installing stoves and burners?
No. The fires of today, they're very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Clean burning?
Clean burning.
So called.
Yeah, so, and that is why the DEFRA Act comes into it.
The next question.
And the Eco Design Friendly 2022. So if anybody is wanting to buy a stove today, it's got to have them, it's got to be DEFRA approved.
The DEFRA approved, yeah.
And Eco Design Friendly 2022.
2022.
So it's like I explained to a lady earlier on, it's like having a diesel car and a hybrid car. You know, they're trying to do away with diesel cars. They're trying to do away with the old stoves. So if you've got a stove, which is, I call like a hybrid stove now, clean burning, then they can't do anything about it.
Okay, so that answered actually part of that question was, what part of the question is, what does DEFRA approved mean, which you just covered, and how do you meet the requirements? The attached question was, would that mean that older models need to be replaced? Not until they're damaged.
If you're going to, if you are going to replace your older model stove, then 100% it's got to be DEFRA approved and Eco Design Friendly. The law is not in yet. If it will come in, that they will come down on people who haven't got DEFRA approved fires.
Yeah. So
whether that law comes in,
we're just waiting for that law that will decide whether people have to replace old models, but until then, not until it's damaged or needs replacing. Right. Okay. Next question was, do stoves or burners have to be fitted by a qualified technician, or can anyone do it? I suppose you could, but I certainly wouldn't.
Right. Hindsight, yes, it's got to be a qualified person, a heaters
approved, yeah.
Heaters approved engineer. That's what we are. But you can do it yourself, and people have, and some people have done a good job, providing that you get it signed off by the local council.
Right, so it has to be registered with your local council.
Yeah, because we got all the rules and regulations. If somebody has installed a stove and anything goes wrong, they haven't got a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
If it's been signed off by the council or by a heaters technician, then everything's above board. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a certificate of sweeping.
Yeah. So that's a certificate to say that it's been swept by the technician who is qualified. So that is your, almost like an insurance, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's like our insurance. So that is really important. And I think one of the questions was as well, I'll get to that in a minute, about insurance. Oh, it is the second one down now from me. It's about home insurance. Can it affect your home insurance having one installed, or do you have to notify your insurers?
You haven't got to notify your insurers, but what I would do, it wouldn't harm you to tell them. And when you're showing that certificate there, Cindy, very important that you keep every certificate every time you've had it swept.
Yeah. So that was another question that somebody asked: is does it have to be swept every year?
Without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah,
definitely. I would anyway, just because even if I don't burn much at all, because I mean we use it about 3 months of the year, and we don't burn that much, and it's only wood, well-seasoned wood, but we still get you to do it every year. So I think it's just
insurance companies are are very stringent on getting your log burners and open fires swept at least once a year.
Which is more likely to cause a chimney fire, a burner or an open fire? Both equally the same. They both need the same kind of safety considerations. I would think so anyway. Somebody also asked, are flue liners really essential? Are they cleaner, safer, or does it create more radiant heat? And if you don't have it, are there any differences between whether you have a flue liner or not?
Yeah, there's a big difference. The first difference is safety. And the reason being, especially the couple of houses I've been in today, if you've got a house which is 100 years old, you will definitely have leaks in the chimney.
Okay.
Don't care what kind of house you live in, unless you've had your chimney lined by a specialist company. You will get lines. Each chimney, if you've got 4 chimneys in your house, and your next door neighbour has got 4 chimneys, there's 8 chimneys on a stack. Normally 2 bedroom and 2 downstairs. And they're all separated by 1 row of bricks.
Just one.
Just one
so
row.
You could not just the smoke, but all the lethal toxins as well.
Exactly. So that is why, even now with open fires, they do like you to have it lined.
Yeah. It's like a cooker extractor thing with it.
Yeah.
Similar.
But by having a liner on a log burner, eliminates that, because all the smoke is contained. And it all goes straight up the liner and straight out into the air.
That's always better, because there's not just smoke, there's not just the carbon monoxide, there's all the other toxins as well, like the MP2.4,
That's
isn't
right,
it, or something like that, which is just as toxic as CO2.
Yeah.
Which you even get from tyres, car tyres when you break, you get the same toxin as produced by burning fuel. So it's always best to make sure you're doing it the right way and the safe way. And you've made sure we've got a carbon monoxide detector up there as well. So is there a legal requirement for having one, and the distance from the fireplace?
Yeah, definitely. Just going back, Cindy, to the last question about the liner, before I answer that one. Not only is it a safety thing with a liner, excuse me, it runs more efficient.
Okay.
It runs more efficient. You're not getting so much downdraft when you've got the liner. So your fuel will last you a lot longer than if you didn't have a liner.
Makes sense.
Carbon monoxide, to me, it's the most important part of an install.
Right.
Always read the instructions on the carbon monoxide alarm if you buy it yourself, and you put it where it tells you to go. So if it tells you it goes on the floor, you put it on the floor, and it'll tell you how far away. But the 90% of carbon monoxide alarms go up high, and they go between 1 and 3 meters away from the appliance.
Right, ours is quite close, isn't it? Really, right up there. So
you're about a meter away from where the fire is here to there. It's about a meter.
Yeah.
And 6 inches down from the ceiling. So that is an ideal place.
Good.
Even open fires
need
carbon monoxide alarms.
Yeah.
And gas fires especially.
Gas fires especially. I think people forget about that. It's not just wood burners, it's not just open fires, but gas fires as well is just as important, because they also need to be cleaned out, don't they?
They've got to be clean. If you've got a gas fire in there and you thought, oh, I want to light it now, it's getting cold. So you turn your gas fire on and it's burning lovely. So where's the fumes going? They're going up the chimney, aren't they? Yeah. So how do you know that
they're all going up the chimney? Not
during the summer months that you haven't had a bird's nest?
That's true, yeah. Even for a gas fire.
Well, could you 90% of the time, if you've got a coal fire and you light your fire and the smoke comes back into the room, you know it's blocked.
It's blocked, yeah. That was one somebody asked.
With a gas fire, you don't know. So it's always wise to have your chimney swept and have a a chimney cowl put on.
Exactly, it's what you've done for us at the top,
Yeah,
is to
yeah.
stop the birds getting in and nesting as well. So yeah,
That's okay. That cowl is a part of the install.
Yeah.
You've got to put that on.
Yeah.
Same as the carbon monoxide alarm.
Well, I think it's necessary anyway. It stops rain getting in as well. So.
And a lot of downdraft.
Yeah.
So if anyone is thinking of having a log burner installed, by law, the installer has got to put a carbon monoxide alarm up.
Excellent, good thing. Right, and going back to the wood, another person asked about the dangers of using any wood other than proper wood, like construction wood and pallets and stuff like that, and the dangers of that with the chemicals.
Then again, we got treated wood is a no-no.
Yeah, and there's a law against using that now anyway.
Now that it's coming January the 1st, you're not supposed to
burn anything other than properly seasoned wood.
Properly seasoned or kiln dried wood, yeah.
Yeah.
Or smokeless coal.
Or smokeless coal.
Yeah.
Because some people, we had a neighbour once who used to burn any and all wood, including MDF and pallet wood, and the smell. And we're thinking, oh my days, he's going to poison himself and his neighbours, seriously. And some people just chuck anything and everything in there they don't want to take to the skip. And I'm thinking, it's because of people like that we get these laws against having wood burners, seriously.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, how are they still alive?
No, and just imagine if you're living next door to somebody like that and you've got a leaky chimney.
Oh my
and
days.
that comes into your house.
Oh, it's scary thought, that.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't burn anything other than properly seasoned or kiln dried wood or smokeless fuel. Yeah. Thank you for that. That is a really important one as well. How often should you or could you restoke the fire and add more to it, and how fierce is it all right to burn?
With a log burner, it all depends how hot you're burning it. Normally, these new ones now are about 82-83% efficiency.
Yeah.
So you haven't got to be putting wood on all the time, like the older ones.
Yeah, we don't have to put too much on this all the time. If it gets the draw just right.
That's it. It's getting
adjusting the little thing on the bottom to regulate the air.
Getting the right medium.
Yeah, and if it gets that just right, and the top one.
Yeah.
Then it gets a nice steady burn and it lasts a bit longer. And
you don't want to be burning it too hot, and you don't want to be burning it
to the size. Yeah.
Yeah.
But as well, somebody said one of the things to stop the smoke and the fumes coming in the house is not to open the door too often. So you really do want to regulate the wood you put in and burning it slowly.
That's a good point, actually, and they're right in what they say. Yeah, obviously that's when the smoke do sometimes
come out, because you're drawing it as you open the door.
Yeah.
So very slowly open the door.
Very slowly.
Very slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good one.
And closing it slowly as well.
Closing it slowly. Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you. Okay, where do you buy the right wood? Compliant with new legislation.
There's a number of places. You go online and have a look around. There's people selling wood by the ton, and they'll come and deliver it. Most of the time they'll just tip it outside your house or on your drive, and you've got to take it out the back yourself.
Yeah. You sometimes see signs along the road by farms, chopped wood.
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. B&M bargains, home bargains.
Because those are the ones that should carry the logo that they're DEFRA approved, isn't it? And that they're compliant.
There's two types of wood they sell.
Yeah.
They sell softwood and hardwood. The softwood is in the netting. The hardwood is in the plastic bags. And that is what I always go for, is the one in the plastic bags. Plus it's drier. I find it a lot drier.
Should last longer as well.
Than what the...
It should be cleaner.
Yeah, it's cleaner. I'm not going to say it's going to last longer, but it's cleaner, and it's really good. I get it myself.
Okay, brilliant. Along with the carbon monoxide detector, somebody asked about thermometers to check the temperature. Essential or just, preference?
A bit of both, really. On your instructions, it should tell you the ideal temperature to be burning your stove.
Yeah.
And if you have got one of them thermometers,
Then
which
you
goes
won't
on
go
the pipe,
over the heat.
yeah, you can keep, yeah.
So it could be a safety
Yeah.
thing to make sure
Yeah,
you don't end up damaging your boiler.
No. You know when you're burning it too hot. And because it roars and everything, so you shouldn't be doing that.
So you don't want it roaring.
No, you just want it like a happy medium.
Yeah.
Get
Like
it
a
going.
hiss rather than a roar.
Yeah. Get it going. You know, it's going to roar when you're starting off. But once you get to the desired temperature, just turn it down, put some fuel on, and, you know, you shouldn't be putting any on then. At least half hour, 40 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. So
But when it's burning properly.
and along with that kind of equipment, fans, the stove fans.
I'm a big fan of them, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've ordered one,
Yeah.
and then I realised, hang on a minute, there's not enough room on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
sides.
Yeah, that is.
There is. So
Yeah.
it's not arrived yet. It's supposed to be arriving this week, but I'm thinking, because it says you're not allowed to put it in front along the edges of the pipe. It's got to go to the side.
Yeah, to the side, yeah. You put it on the side.
It'll be big, it'll be small enough for that, yeah. Okay.
definitely.
That's fine. We've ordered one of
Yeah.
those.
Where did you get yours from?
On the internet.
And how much did you pay for it, do you remember?
£7.
Oh,
And
fantastic.
the others were around 28. It was exactly
Yeah.
the same thing.
Reason being, I asked you where you go. I know Aldi's and Lidl's do fans now
Is
and
it?
again.
I haven't
And they're
seen
about
it yet.
13 to 15 pounds.
Oh, okay.
And they're supposed to be really good.
Yeah, but then you put on the postage. But I think mine was free postage because I'd ordered other stuff as well.
£7, you had a bag in there.
I did, and it was exactly the same as the others. It just didn't have rounder edges. It had more squares. I thought
Who
it's the
cares?
same thing.
Who cares
As
about
long
that?
as it's allowed to go on there, I thought we might have a
Yeah.
problem because the other burners I saw them on were much wider, and I'm thinking, I wonder if it'll fit.
Fit on there.
Okay, that's fine. That's brilliant. And a ventilation.
Yeah.
You're talking about ventilation as well.
Yeah. It's not a requirement up to 5 kilowatt to put a vent in, but it don't always mean to say that you mustn't put a vent in. All depends on the property.
Yeah.
If you're putting it a stove in a new build, then you might have to put ventilation in,
Yeah.
even if it's 5 kilowatt or under.
See, we've got those window vents which are really good.
Yeah.
And I think for us, we found that even with the small fire, we have to even have it open just because it just gets too warm anyway.
Yeah. It don't hurt
No.
to have ventilation.
Okay, somebody asked about firebox plates. How often and when to replace?
Sorry, you said?
Firebox plates. I wonder if that's the fire bricks.
The fire bricks. If and when they need changing, I have known fire bricks to go within 12 months.
But you'll see, your chimney sweep will see that when he comes to clean, and you'll
And
check
we will
that.
advise you.
Okay.
Sometimes, mind, we don't know. We'll move them to take them out, and they'll just crumble in our hand.
And what about the ones? Some wood burners have got that angled one at the top to
The baffle. Yeah.
Same thing.
Same
you check
thing.
the whole lot
Yeah,
when you come to
yeah.
do the sweeping and cleaning.
And we will advise you up to either. Normally, I say go to the manufacturer because you're cutting out the middleman. Then go straight to the manufacturer, and they can get you one out within a couple of days.
Brilliant. Somebody asked about fire surrounds as well, the materials and distances, like, you know, whether it should be wood or like the half, or, you know, the surrounds being wood or stone. And
Yeah, you can have a wooden surround long as it's 450 mil away from the fire.
yeah, as you checked ours as well.
Yeah.
That was exactly, actually. We were really amazed at the tiles, but then it was exactly the right. But that was really good coincidence. But there is a minimum, and your chimney sweep should be able to explain that to you anyway if he knows what he's doing. Somebody also asked if on the hearth, is it better to have the wood burner out on the hearth or in the chimney breast?
I always think it looks better if you've got the stove we're talking about now.
Yeah, or the burner. Yeah.
Yeah, the stove.
If it's a stove that you can cook on, a wood burner, like a stove, I suppose, would be, because they're also different, aren't they? If they're bigger ones, because we've got a friend who's got a bigger one.
Yeah,
that's out on the hearth that you can actually.
It all depends on the chimney.
Oh, okay.
It all depends what distance you got when the pipe comes down. Some chimneys are narrower than others. So sometimes when you do install, you have got to bring the fire out.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can put it back.
If there's enough space.
As long as you got your distance on the back and side, you're okay.
Okay, so it depends on if you haven't got enough distance with the back and the sides of the burner, it needs to be outside. So that would be a requirement then.
Yours is plenty.
Yeah.
All the way around. We've got plenty on the back.
Yeah.
We've got over 50 mil on the back, which is normally the requirement. And we've got over 50 on either side.
Yeah. Brilliant.
So, yeah.
That's great. Can stovetops be used for cooking on as well? I mean, in the wood burners?
Not
really, it's too small.
It's not made for that, but you can buy additional what's the word? Accessories. Like I've got a panini.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I put a panini. I can put that on top. I've never tried it, but I suppose you could boil a kettle on it.
Yeah.
The old-fashioned kettles. Even a couple of my customers on certain stoves, they've got an accessory where you can put a baked potato in.
Yeah, oh, okay. That's more sensible. I'd be worried about the register plate rusting if there's steam going under there.
It won't rust.
No?
No.
Oh, okay, that's fine then. Okay, somebody asked how to prevent smoke coming in the living room. I think if you answered that, it means you've got a blockage.
Well, yeah. Get it swept regular. Get it serviced. And especially if it's windy, open the doors slowly.
Slowly, as we said, yeah.
Close it slowly.
One of the last questions we had was checking if the chimney is solid and safe, that you would do before you ever install one. Yeah.
Before we do an installation, so many people don't, but you've got to get it swept. You've got to get it swept to make sure that there's no like bricks falling down the chimney.
The cracks or leaks or...
Not so much about the cracks, Cindy, because you're putting the liner in.
Yeah.
So all the smoke will go up there anyway. Another thing, a bird's nest. You've got to make sure there's no bird's nest there. You know, I went to one about 4 or 5 years ago, me and Brian, in Newport. We went to do an install. And I said to the lady, I said, "Have the chimney been swept?" "Yeah, it's been swept." And I said, "If you got the certificate so I could have a look at it." "Oh, he didn't leave me a certificate." So that was alarm bells straight away for me. And I said, "Oh, do you remember who?" "Oh, I can't remember who swept it." So we went to put the liner down and it wouldn't go down because there was a bird's nest in there.
Ah.
So.
And then that determines what time of the year you can put in the liner then, because you can't disturb a nest, can you?
An old nest you can.
Okay. It's not occupied.
Yeah. Me as a sweep and an animal lover, if I go to sweep it, a chimney, or either just for their annual sweep or to put a log burner in, if I know it's being used by birds, I won't touch it.
Yeah. And are there occasions where you would need to use a camera to check the sturdiness of the
100%,
chimney inside?
Yeah.
And obviously those are little extra things because it's more time and technology that you would have to add on to the price of it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I expect that every job will be different and the price will be different depending on the job.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, people like myself, who is just a small business, a sole trader, it's going to be a lot cheaper coming off us than if you go to a big company.
Yeah. We've got fleets of vans and staff to pay.
And got a big showroom, and I won't mention any names, but, you know, there's a few out there, and, you know, it's ridiculous what they charge. You're always better off going with a sole trader because we haven't got a shop.
Yeah.
So we haven't got that outlay.
But also, if they're going for a sole trader, check, like yourself, you've got all your proper approvals,
reviews, very
qualification, your reviews, you've got a good website that they can check, and the contacts, and your experience and references.
Well, the first thing I would do, if I was going to have a log burner installed, I would go on the heater's website and I would
That's HETAS.
yeah, and I would go look on there for installers.
Okay.
And if they're on there,
They're registered.
They're registered. Then I would phone them up and I would ask if they got a website, so I can go on there and have a look at it and look at their reviews. That's very important. One thing I've noticed though about reviews, and there's a guy in Cardiff, I won't mention any names, he hasn't been doing it as long as me, sweeping or installing, and he has hundreds of reviews. And I thought to myself, that's strange. How can he have so many reviews when he's only been doing it a short time? And quite recently, I have been having lots of phone calls and lots of emails and messages of foreign people asking me, do I want reviews?
Oh, right, okay. So, yeah.
I don't know what they charge. To me, it's a definite no.
Yeah, definitely.
If
You want actual customers.
I want proper reviews, and every review I have on my website and on Google is of customers who's been happy with our work. I haven't paid anybody to leave me reviews like I know certain people have. And you can go on there and you can check yourself and you can just see yourself
who the customers are.
Yeah. So reviews is very important, but don't be fooled.
Don't be fooled for them. Yeah. It's rather the credentials and the experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. Oh, there's one question that somebody hasn't asked that I just thought of, and that is cleaning out the ash.
Yeah.
Safety or just efficiency? Is that, how often? We do it every day we use it.
You haven't got to clean it out every time. You're always better off. Yours is multi-fuel, isn't it?
Yes, ours is multi-fuel, yeah.
Whether it's multi-fuel or wood, always leave a bed of ash on the bottom.
Okay, I never do. So I should do, yeah?
Yeah, just leave a bed of ash.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, and light your fire on the bed of ash.
Okay.
It helps protect the grate.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So light the fire first in the ashtray.
No,
just on
the
the
ashtray
ash
is
on the
underneath.
grate.
Yeah, and empty your ashtray.
So you can empty the ashtray,
Yeah.
leave some on the grate.
Yeah.
Because that will protect it from the
Yeah.
fire you light. I never knew that.
Yeah. Ash is a brilliant thing, and it's also a dangerous thing as well. You can get carbon monoxide off ash.
Really?
Yeah. So my advice to you and everybody else is, do not empty your ashtray when it's hot.
Yeah. We
Just
always have it cold,
let it cool down, because you can get carbon monoxide.
So it's always worth talking to a chimney sweep.
Yeah, through the hot ash. Another great thing with ash is cleaning the glass. Did I tell you that?
No.
No, oh sorry.
But I have been cleaning the glass.
Yeah,
but not
I can
with
tell
the
that
ash.
because it looks lovely. And you can try this. I use wet wipes.
Yeah.
Ash, dip your wet wipe or damp
Or a
cloth,
wet cloth, yeah.
or a damp newspaper
Yeah.
in the ash, and just clean your glass.
Ah, see, it was worth talking to you just for knowing how to clean the glass.
Ash is abrasive.
Okay.
And it
Well,
cleans
because
the
it
glass.
contains the lye, isn't
That's
it?
right. Yeah. So you
From
can,
which you could make lye to make your soap.
well, yeah,
Well, it's caustic soda, isn't it?
yeah, caustic soda. So you can.
Use ash, and you can clean your teeth, but I wouldn't. Use
Yeah,
ash to clean my
I
teeth.
have heard.
I'm not going to do that because of the lye.
But yeah, you can do that with the ash. It's great. So you can light your fire on it, because it's help protecting the grate or the fire picks if you've got a wood burner.
Lastly, what's the best way to get rid of it? Your ash.
It can, long as it's cold, you can put it in the green bin.
In the green bin, that's
Yeah.
okay. All right then. Never hot ashes though.
No, never.
Oh, and another thing, never.
Or on your
ever-
garden.
Yeah, but you never ever put ash in your composter. It kills the bacteria that's necessary.
Okay, well I
For
didn't
your
know that.
compost,
I've learned something new today.
Oh, well, that's good then.
Yeah.
So never put ash in your composter. And I would imagine that you would put it on the surface of your soil around the plants to help with the slugs. And it does add the lime to the soil as well. You can do that
Great in the winter.
2 weeks before you plant anything, but no sooner, because it could kill the roots if you're sowing too soon after that. So that's use of the fire ash in there.
My grampy.
And it's wood ash, not the coal ash, I think, is it? I'm sure it's only
It's
the wood
mostly
ash.
wood now. My grampy and my grandmother, we used to have lilies in our garden, and especially in the icy weather, they used to put the ash all over the bottom of the lilies to help them, you know, in the ice.
At St Fagans, I saw, because obviously they burn peat and coal, I think, at St Fagans, along with the wood. I'm sure they use quite anything they can. But I've seen on the garden paths by the timeline houses, they've got the cinders from the fire lining the paths to walk on, like gravel.
Another great thing with ash, if it's icy outside, you can throw your ash on your path.
As long as you don't walk it in on your carpet.
Exactly. Only if you're going out.
Oh, brilliant. I really, really appreciate having a chat with you. It's really been helpful because I've learned new stuff today as well.
And I have.
And we have. Hopefully you have as well. It's been lovely to share that with you. As promised, I did say that we would finally get you to do that. There's been so much happening since the pandemic and all sorts happening. So glad we could finally get a chat.
Pleasure, Cindy. It's just from August, it starts silly season, I call it.
Yeah, so I thought that if people are thinking about keeping warm in the winter and opening up their fireplaces,
get it done in the summer.
Get it done in the summer, yeah, definitely. Maybe a job for next year. It's a bit late for this year now. But if you have got a burner, how to use it safely, the best way to use it and keep maintaining it, and how to find a really good chimney sweep and to know what to look out for. So I think we've covered all of that. So I don't know if there's anything else. If we've missed anything and you have a question, don't forget to put it in the comment section below. I will put your website link in the description box as well. So if anybody wanted to and they're in the area between Cardiff, Newport,
South Wales,
South Wales. Yeah, so I'll put your details in there as well if they want to ask. If they have any other questions, to ask you directly as well on your website. So
anything at all. And like I say, we're a family-run business, so as you know, my son works for me as well. And anything at all, just ask.
Thank you. Another thing before we go, somebody was saying worried about putting things on the mantle and the risks with the fire and the heat. Obviously, I'm not going to leave that up there all the time when we're burning, because within a week that's going to disappear.
I wouldn't either.
But probably higher up away from the...
Well, I'm not a fan of... Well, my wife does it all the time. I'm sure she does it to wind me up. I'm not a fan of having stuff on the beam. Yeah. I like it just plain. Yeah. But you women...
We love our decorations.
Yes, you do. I think we got candles on ours, and I don't know what we got loads of stuff on there. Yeah. But I'm not a fan of putting stuff on there.
I was thinking this morning that I would like another mantle or shelf higher up for the decorations, just to keep this, you know. So, but yeah.
And one more thing I'd like to add while we're talking about mantles. I get asked this question quite a lot. Is it okay to put a TV up on the wall
above a fire
where you got a log burner?
I would imagine that it would warp over time anyway and cause problems.
Again, I'm not a fan of it. People do. But if you are going to do it, buy yourself a wooden mantle, a beam. Put it there. One. Yeah.
Big sturdy.
4 or 5 inches, going across the fire. And what happens then, it'll deflect the heat.
Okay. So the wider the mantle, the more it'll...
Yeah.
Which would actually help keep the heat into the room better as well, anyway.
Yeah. But then again, heat rises, so it'll hit the ceiling
and drop back down. Again.
Drop back down and
circulate. So. Okay. Brilliant. Thank you for that. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
Let's hope it helps somebody else out there.
I hope it have.
I hope it have.
Yeah. And thank you very much. And
hope we haven't kept you too long and kept you
any questions, get them across to Cindy.
Thanks a lot.
All right, love.
Okay. So don't forget as well, if this has been any use and helped you, do give us a like. Click that like button. Do subscribe if you haven't already done so. Click the notification bell so that whenever I do post a video, you'll know when. And yeah, I'll see
And
you
if
then.
they want to put a like on Facebook on my Cardiff Chimney Sweeps.
Oh, I'll put that link in as well then. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Okay, then. Thank you, Cindy.
Take care, lovely.
All right.
Until next week, folks, take care and I'll see you then.
Lovely. You should be on the telly.
I got YouTube for that.